What's up? So I want to get straight into this tutorial. So let's talk about what is Widgy. Kind of like a custom widget make. I've seen a lot of the reviews on the App Store for Widgy where people just kind of don't know really how to use Widgy. So I thought I'd make a tutorial here on basically how to use it. So there's kind of two camps here. One is the people who just want really cool widgets on their home screen that they want to do a little tweaking with but don't want to get really into the tools. And in that case, I'm not going to waste your time. Simply go down the link in the description and there's a Reddit with a bunch of widgets that you can download and put on your phone, but today, like right now if you want. So I just ask, in return, you drop a like if that helped you out. But if not, you don't have to drop a like yet, but I'm sure I'll get your like soon. So let's go to our second camp, which is people who don't know how to use Widgy, or maybe you do know how to use Widgy and you're like,
hey, I just want to see if this guy can show me some tips that I don't really know yet.
For this tutorial, I'm going to be using my phone and I'm going to go through my personal setup, like my personal Widgy setup that I designed myself. And I'm going to go through someone else's setup that they designed, but I'm going to put it on my home screen here. I don't really feel like switching on my setup. This is my widget up here. You can see this is the one we're gonna first start to design, and I'm gonna go through how I made these designs and like what went into creating them. And we'll see that this specific widget is right here, and we can actually hit edit and go through and see. So Widgy is still a little glitchy here, so it's not gonna show me the background because apparently the background's black to this. I don't know what it's talking about. Oh, here. So we go to the widget right here, and this is the widget, and the background is just actually a picture of my home screen, so it makes it look transparent. And in this one, I just have the date up at top, and I got like a joke. It also tells me when the sun rises and sun sets, but that's only for like photography reasons and stuff like that. So let's get into how I made this. So what you're gonna wanna do is download an app. It's called Scriptable. It kind of looks like this. And there's going to be a download in the description of the scriptable script that you can run. So it's going to be right here, and it's going to be called blank space once you download it. And you just click blank space, hit continue. You're going to want to take a picture of your home screen before. So I should have prefaced that, but let's go home, hold on my home screen, and go to the very last page, screenshot the very last page, and then hit done. Once you hit done, you can go right into scriptable and just click your new home screen picture. And we're gonna want, I personally want a medium one, but you can go with whatever you want. So medium, and it's gonna ask us where we want, top, bottom, or middle. So we're gonna do top for now, because that's where I have mine. And then we're gonna wanna export it to photos or files, but I prefer photos. It's just easier and more accessible, right? So now we're in the widget setup. So let's hit create a widget since we got our transparent background. Now we're introduced to the layers, documents, messages, and histories tab. Now the messages and histories tab aren't gonna be very useful unless you're probably super advanced on the app, but I hardly ever use them. So we're gonna wanna start out with the documents tab. Now what the documents tab has is name, description, author, wallpaper URL, widget size, refresh interval. So the main thing you're gonna wanna worry about here is probably the widget size. This is like whatever you want. So they got small, large, and medium. Since I chose medium, I'm gonna do medium. And you can switch the time interval changes, which is basically how long it takes for the widget to update. Although I do find that it updates a lot faster than 15 minutes most of the time. So I'll probably just leave that where it's at now. Now we're gonna wanna start out and add a layer and add a image layer. So this is gonna be our background. This is like the wallpaper that we took a screenshot of. And we're gonna change the image to something in our image library and just plop it on here. And you can actually use 2 fingers if you look here and zoom in. And sometimes it's a little finicky, but you can zoom in here and it should work. And then you should have the full size of the widget up at the top. And there we go. So that's pretty much it for the background. Now we actually have our widget in the background. I'm just gonna go in here and name it something other than new, just so I know which widget I'm talking about. So probably Widgy tutorial. Let's pretend like I spelled tutorial right. We go into manage, medium 1, and let's change it to midget, midget tutorial, Widgy tutorial. And if we go to our home screen, go to add the widget, and scroll down to Widgy, which is at the very bottom, sadly. And we click Widgy, then we're gonna want whatever one correlated with it. So you saw those empty spots. So we set it up for the widget 1. So if you want small widget 6, small widget 4, whatever you want, you can add it to that. So we added widget 1, so we just add that to the top. And boom, there we have a blank widget right now. So we have a blank background, or a transparent background that we can work with. So let's go in here, and we go back to create, and we go to our widget that we were editing, and then we hit add layer text, and this is going to be the today is part of the today is whatever date. So we go into this text, and I find that using your fingers is like, if you're trying to do fine detail, using your fingers isn't great. So if you go into these 1 step, 1/2 step, 1/10 step in the frame settings, you can actually change it by these are whole steps that you're changing it by, and then half for smaller increment steps. So we get like smaller steps right here, you can see, and then 1/10 for really, really small, like fine detail type things. And this also works for position. It goes half step, full step. So for this text, we're gonna wanna go data. And what data does is it lets us change what's inside the text. So the prefix is always there. You're always gonna wanna delete this because it's really useless. So you wanna set the prefix to like today is, but our prefix is gonna be whatever the text is, or whatever we want the text to say before it says anything like data information or like the API list, all of this stuff. So we just put today is up at the top. And there we go, we got today is. We go home and there we go. So it says today is, that's pretty great. Although it's not the best it could be. So let's go back in here, let's add text, and let's set up a day. Let's tell it to say the day, so today it is, and then whatever the day is. So we're gonna wanna go back into our text right here, go into data, shut off the prefix, because what the prefix is it's like set text that will not change depending on any like data sets or anything. So we want to change that and change that to date and time. Now we can change it to a live timer, which actually works surprisingly. But for me personally, I'm probably going to do the system medium. I think is going to be good. Although it's not like the best for showing you what today's date is or anything. There we go. So today is, and then October 28th, 2020. Perfect, and it should pop up right here, and you can see we get that information right there. So it looks a lot like my widget before, although my widget before has like a lot of tweaking done to it. So let's go back in here and let's add something from the API section. Now what I really like about the API section is we go data, API list, not cryptocurrency, but so you can add any of this data in here. So if you want exchange rates, pedometer, system information, system memory, system network, Apple Music, you can add a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna use the API list. The API list has some pretty good stuff on it. I really like the dad jokes though. So I'm gonna add the dad jokes right here. Don't forget to delete the prefix because this text isn't like, again, it's not gonna be a set text. It's something that's changing, so it's a variable. So we don't want to set text in there. And we added the dad joke and we up the frame and probably widen the frame a little bit and move it over to the center. And now we get that, but with a dad joke beneath it. Now, if you want to mess with light mode and dark mode, as you can see, this widget doesn't respond with dark mode and light mode. Oh, this widget does respond with dark mode and light mode, but you can actually change the colors of these so they respond differently with dark mode and light mode. So you can go change the font to thin, the color to anything you want. So we can do like yellow if we want, although it's not gonna look good on our background. Yeah, and there's a lot of customization you can do within the color and the text. So next we're gonna add a layer, and this last layer, I'm just gonna add some simple when the sun rises and when the sun sets. Let's actually just do when the sun rises. So we go back into data, shut off the prefix again, update, and then we're gonna want an API, and scroll down, and we can change the API. Sunset, sunrise / sunset. So we're just gonna want the sunrise. So let's turn on sunrise, plop it down there, and hit back. And now we're just gonna add a symbol, and we'll go symbol, sun, add sun, put it right there. Obviously this isn't gonna look the best. I'm not gonna spend a long time on this because I'm just showing you guys basically the basics here. And we're gonna change the color to maybe yellow. And there we go, we get a sunrise. There we go, we get a sunrise, what time the sun rises, and then some dad jokes. What do you call a guy lying on your doorstep? Matt. Pretty good, pretty good. So that's basically it for the simple basics of Widgy. Could get into, but this is really it for the basics. If you guys do want an advanced tutorial, be sure to let me know in the description, or drop a subscribe or a like button, whatever you want to do. That's pretty much it for me. See ya.